Welcome to today's webinar on engagement for professional learners. We're excited to have you join us. A few things to note. Closed captions have been enabled so that you have the option to show or hide those depending on your needs. The Zoom Q&A box is open at the moment for any questions that you may have throughout the session. A recording of the session will be posted to our YouTube playlist in the next week or so, and we will send a follow-up email with a link to that playlist, as well as a copy of the slide deck and the Q&As from today. Let's get started with today's agenda. We'll begin with a few short introductions. From there, we'll talk about some tools for engagement. Then we'll provide a demo in the Brightspace platform. To finish off, we'll have a discussion time and an opportunity for continued Q&A. A bit about us. My name is Christina Bifus, and I'm a Customer Enablement Specialist here at D2L. I have my colleagues Victoria and Alvaro here with me today. They will be answering any questions that you may have in the Q&A and posting resources for you in the chat. Before we dive in, I would like to take a moment to review or introduce some terms. You might have heard of D2L or Brightspace before. To clarify, D2L is the company that we work for, and Brightspace, a learning management system, is our product. In addition, our Brightspace community is a hub of resources where you can connect with other Brightspace users and seek out additional information on Brightspace. If you have not yet registered for the Brightspace community, there should be a link in the chat for you to do so. So let's dive into our content for today. Engagement is a term that is used frequently to mean a lot of different things. A 2020 review of research identified 3 dimensions of engagement: behavioral, emotional, and cognitive. Behavioral engagement being physical behaviors required to complete the learning activity. Emotional, positive emotional energy associated with the learning activity, and cognitive engagement being mental energy that a learner exerts toward the completion of the learning activity. Of the 3 dimensions of engagement, behavioral engagement is the one that we will focus on today. Some Brightspace tools to support this kind of engagement are checklists, intelligent agents, and awards. Let's take a look at these tools in Brightspace. So here I am in my Brightspace course, and I can find checklists under my course tools in the course admin. Or if it's in your navbar, you can access it from there and click on checklists. Inside the checklist tool, I can create a checklist, or I can see the checklist that I've already created. For this example, I'm actually going to go over into the content area, right into my module, and create my checklist from there so that my learner can access the checklist right within the module, and it's part of the learning flow in that way. So here, I'm going to click on Create New and select Checklist. So I'm going to start by giving my checklist a name, and creating a checklist is really straightforward. You can create one for each week, unit, or project phase. So I'm going to create my checklist for the first week, and then I'm going to add a description to my checklist. And a short description is helpful for learners so that they can know what the checklist is for. And so I'm going to describe my checklist in this way. I'm going to use this list to complete all of the week 1 setup tasks. And then I'm going to select Create and Insert. And that's just going to insert the checklist right here into the flow of my module. Then I'm going to go ahead and make that visible so that it's accessible to my learners right away. Then I'm going to open the checklist, and I'm going to fill out some details about it. I'm going to select that this checklist opens in a new window when it is viewed, and then I'm going to add a new category to my checklist. So this category that I'm going to add is module activities. And I can give my category a short description if I would like as well, but I'm just going to save and close that. And I noticed that when I selected open in a new window, I didn't save, so that didn't take. And now I'm going to add some items to my checklist. So the first item that I want to add here, I'm going to select new item, and I'm going to give my item a name. And then I can also add a short description, a due date, and I can have my checklist item also display in the calendar. I'm going to save and add a new item to that. There, and again, I'm going to give it a due date, and I'm going to have it display in the calendar, and I'm going to add a final item to my checklist here. So I'm going to say save and new, and the last item that I want to add is this one, and I'm going to also attach a due date and have it display in the calendar, and then I'm going to say save. So checklists really support the behavioral engagement of a learner, encouraging the learner to take action. And it also actually supports cognitive engagement by giving structure and clarity to the learner. And for instructors, it reduces the need for reminders and questions like, what do I do next? I'm going to go ahead and save and close that checklist. And I see that it's showing here in my checklist tasks. So while checklists themselves do not report progress, they pair nicely with tools like intelligent agents to see whether the learner is following through or might need reminders. I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to open this checklist in a preview window so that you can see what the learner would see, and they would then just be able to check off the items there. And so with that note about intelligent agents being able to be paired with checklists, let's turn our attention to intelligent agents now. We can find intelligent agents again under our course admin here. I'm going to click on intelligent agents. So intelligent agents are really Brightspace's way of helping instructors and organizations to automate communication and feedback based on learner activity or inactivity in a course. And what I'm going to do here in my intelligent agents list is create a new one by clicking on new agent. And I'm going to set up an agent that will automatically check to see who has not accessed the course within the last 5 days and send them a personalized message. So I'm going to go ahead and give my agent here a name. And so the name is going to be login reminder. And then I want to add a short description for my agent. And it's best practice to describe what the agent does, as it will help me to remember what the function of that agent is. I can also set up categories for my agents to organize them in a better way for me so that I can find them very quickly in my list. Then I'm going to enable that agent so that it will start monitoring as soon as I finished. Then I'm going to schedule up my agent, so I'm going to schedule it to run daily with a frequency of every day, and I'm going to set it to run at 9 a.m. Then I want to set up a criteria for my agent, so I'm going to set it to capture users of the learner role, and I'm going to select that it takes action on activities, so users who have not logged in within the last 5 days. And then I'm going to scroll down to the actions to let it know what action it needs to take. So in this case, we're going to select that the agent takes action every time it is evaluated and the criteria are satisfied, and then that it sends an email out. So intelligent agents can send messages, out, and in this case, we're going to create an email that will be sent automatically. So I'm going to enter the subject of my email and the message that I would like for the agent to include in this email. Oops. So here we are, we've included that message, and you'll notice that in my email I have used replacement strings like the initiating user and the org unit name, and this just allows me to personalize this automated message. If you would like to have some more information on replacement strings, we're running a webinar next month on personalizing in Brightspace. Replacement strings will be covered then. You can join us for that. There are also links within this area that explain which replacement strings can be used. Now that I've created my agent, I'm going to go ahead here and save and close. So once saved, I can manually run the agent to preview any results by clicking on the drop down here and selecting practice run or run now to see what is captured by the agent. And Brightspace will track how many users the agent contacts and keep a record in the agent log so that instructors can see the impact over time. So this simple automation can make a big difference in learner engagement. Instead of manually checking participation, Brightspace does that for you, ensuring that learners who need a nudge get a timely one with personalized reminders. Intelligent agents can also be used for other actions like congratulating high performers, welcoming new learners, or alerting instructors to at-risk participants. Lastly, let's look at awards. So awards are built into Brightspace, and they're a feature that allow you to recognize learner achievement automatically. They're perfect for celebrating milestones. So again, awards can be accessed from the course admin, or if you have them in your nav bar, you can go ahead and click on that tool from there. So here we are in our awards tool, and we can see our class list awards and the awards that are available in a course. I'm going to create a course award. So I'm going to click on course awards, and then I'm going to add an award to the course. Create. So I would like to call out at this point that we have two types of awards. We have badges, which are awarded based on any criteria determined by the instructor or the manager, and they're meant to provide digital markers that represent accomplishments throughout a course or program. While our certificates are like badges, but they include a PDF that users can print. Typically, they indicate an official statement of certification at the end of a program. They can be awarded during the course for other criteria as well. Certificates can be awarded based on achieving a milestone that a learner can use for further career success, such as completing their compliance training. So here, as we create a new award, I'm going to create an award that is going to be given on engagement. So I'm going to call my award Engaged Learner Award, and I'm going to give it a short description. So this award is going to be awarded to learners who participate actively in the course, discussions, and complete weekly activities. And so I'm going to base this criteria on completion of all of the week one items on the checklist, or post a discussion post, for example. And I'm going to make my award a badge. and I'm going to make this available to all of my courses, and I'm going to keep that on checked for never to say that it never expires. Here I can create an image for my award by uploading an icon. I'm going to go ahead and choose an existing icon for my award. So I'm going to choose that badge book, and I'm going to use this award in my course right now. So I'm going to then go ahead and save and close. Now that I've got my award for Engaged Learner, I can edit the properties of this award, and I can make my award hidden until it is earned. And we recommend here that you leave them available to be seen, which can just really promote engagement in the course so that the learners know what they're working toward, that it's visible there. And I'm going to create release conditions for this award. So I would like for this award to be released based on a completed checklist, the checklist that I created earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and add that and create that there. And I'm going to create also another condition, and that is completion of discussion. So I'm going to put discussion post there, and I'm going to say the introductions discussion, and they need to make one post and to new thread only, and I'm going to create that. And here I can say all conditions must be met, or any of the conditions. So it's going to be an or. Either they complete the checklist for week 1, or they complete the first discussion. And I'm going to save and close there. So here we have it. Awards can be combined as well with intelligent agents to trigger messages like congratulations on earning your first badge. I'm going to flip right over here now to the home page of my course, because I'd like to show you the awards leaderboard, which is a homepage widget that is an add-on to the homepage widget expansion pack. And here you can see the learners in the course and the awards that they've already received. I'm able to see the learners' names and the number of awards that they have because I have the permissions to do so. Learners are able to have a view where the other participants display anonymously. And this can be configured through a config variable, which will be available to you in the chat. And I'm going to just toggle over to a learner here so that you can see what the learner view looks like for that. So here I am in this learner. I'm going to go into the awards for Janice Bauman, and you can see the awards there that she's already gotten. She can also share her awards through social media like LinkedIn and other. She has the opportunity to share out her award using another public link there. And if we go over to the home page, you can see when I scroll down to the awards leaderboard that she can see how she's doing based on the other participants in the course, but they are anonymized, so she doesn't know who is achieving these awards. Okay, now that we've looked at our tools, we're going to head back over to share some other resources with you. We invite you to join the D2L Champions program. Being a champion gives you the opportunity to receive points for attending webinars, submitting blog posts, and even giving us reviews online. You can then redeem these points for gift cards and additional D2L services. A link to join the Champions program is available to you in the chat. This may have been your first webinar with us, but we have many more to come. Here's a look at the topics that we have planned through to February. The link to register for these upcoming sessions is also in the chat. We have an overview page that lists the session descriptions, and you can find links to our past sessions there. The link to that overview page is also available in the chat for you. Speaking of webinars, our training team hosts 2 monthly sessions for all Brightspace users. The first is a Q&A drop-in session where you can get your Brightspace questions answered in real time. The second is focused on what's new in Brightspace using our monthly release notes. These sessions give you free access to our D2L training team in a way that you might not otherwise get. Be sure to check them out if you're available. You can find a link with more information as well to those sessions in the chat. We'd love to hear from you through our post-session survey. Your feedback helps us to improve our offerings for future sessions to meet your needs better, so it would be very much appreciated if you would be able to take a moment to complete that for us. To participate, please use the link in the chat or scan the QR code on the screen. Thank you all so much for joining us today. As a reminder, a recording of the session will be posted on our Bright Ideas for Upskilling YouTube playlist. A link to the playlist, a copy of the slide deck, and a copy of our Q&A report will be shared in a follow-up email. You may receive the email before the recording is published. If that's the case, just check back in a couple of days. If there's something that you saw today that you want to learn more about, we encourage you to reach out to your customer success manager or search for resources within the Brightspace community. Thanks again for joining us today, and have a great day.